The hang clean is a variant of the Olympic weightlifting clean and a staple in the training of athletes like football and basketball players because it builds power. Hey, I'm Zack Telander. I'm a weightlifting coach, and I'm going to explain everything you need to know about the hang clean. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss any of our helpful content. Essentially, the hang clean is taking the barbell from a standing position, going down to either above, below, or at the knees, and then up to what we call the front rack. And I'm going to teach you all of those variants today. The hang clean is very beneficial to express total body power by way of triple extension. That means the ankles, knees, and the hips extend all together. And if you could do the hang clean with enough technicality, you can express power from the feet all the way through the entire body, up through the hands and into the barbell. And because we get to use the barbell here, we can lift probably the most weight possible in that movement. It's also the less technical variant than the full clean. People do this as an Olympic sport. So what I want to do for you guys is give you something that's more palatable, and that is the hang clean. We're actually going to start with the end position, and that is called the front rack. We're going to grab the bar in our hands, make sure our grip is right about here. So you can see I swipe my thumbs. That's where I usually take my grip. This position is called the front rack, and this is where the clean finishes. It's really important that we establish this as our base before we do anything else. The three keys with the front rack that I'm looking for are trying to maintain a grip on the barbell. Sometimes it's gonna roll back, but again, we don't want to lose this grip. It's very important, okay? Also, the bar needs to be above the collarbone. It has to end there. And then finally, the elbows have to be forward. So the best way that I've found to get used to this position is actually not bringing the bar from down here. It's actually pushing the bar overhead. So we have this bar in our overhead position. Don't think about it too much, just get it overhead. And what we're gonna do is slowly bring the bar down, trying to keep our hands on the bar, elbows forward, and then landing in that above the collarbone position. All right, it's gonna feel really awkward, but we don't want to bring the bar down below the collarbones. We don't want the elbows to drop, and we want to try and limit the amount that we roll this bar into our fingertips. The next movement is called the muscle clean. Now this drill is essential in establishing what we call the turnover. So first things first, same grip on the bar. Next thing, we're gonna drive our elbows up. That's it. We're just gonna keep driving them up like this. Then, while keeping the bar close to us, we're going to transfer the elbows underneath. So again, it starts elbows high, underneath. We're gonna try and avoid getting that barbell up like this. So really think high pull with the elbows. High and underneath. High and underneath. And what you're looking for as far as height is you're just kind of maxing out that upright row and then forcing the elbows underneath all in one movement. I mean, we could practice here, but that's really difficult. Pausing here. We want to really work on elbows high and outside and then underneath. After the muscle clean, we're going to do what's called the contact drill. Same grip on the bar. We're going to slightly bend our knees, maybe hinge at the hips just a little bit. We're going to let the bar come away from us and establish contact with that high thigh position. This is very important as we move forward. The bar comes away, comes up like that. Again, when I make contact, the elbows come high just like the muscle clean. So we're here, contact. You can hear the bar rattling. So we can get more confident with that and get that bar up to that same position. And now we can finish the clean. Elbows high and outside and underneath. One more time. I can develop this contact. High and outside and underneath. Then, once we're confident in that, we can start to move the feet. So we're essentially jumping. Bring the bar out, get a few reps like this, just the contact, and then when we're ready, we're gonna catch in this quarter squat, okay? Now typically, the clean variant can usually be a squat. So essentially you're doing that and you're catching in a deep squat. Today we're gonna do everything catching in what's called the power position. So we're gonna call this a hang power clean. Off the quads and catch in the power position. Okay, so the final movement now is the below the knee hang clean, and it looks like this. This is the movement that I like to give beginners the most because it is the safest and it's the easiest to be the most technically proficient. So what we're gonna do is take the last drill we just did, which was that contact drill. We're gonna bend our knees slightly, let the bar come out, make contact and go. Essentially, we're going to do that exact same drill. We're just gonna do it from below the knees. So we can actually go slight bend position. And instead of letting that bar come out in front of us, we're gonna bring the bar down below the knee, come up, and make contact. Again, bend the knees instead of the bar coming away from us into that contact position. We're just gonna bring the bar to below the knee, up, contact, and catch. It's really important that we don't miss that contact position. So here is the final movement, the final hang clean that we're looking for. We're doing the same thing, but when we do this with weight, the bar's gonna be set up on the floor. So we're gonna grab the bar with the same grip we had before, the one that was slightly outside the thigh. We're gonna straighten our back and stand up with it, okay? This is where the movement starts. You're gonna take a breath in, control on the way down to just below the knee, up, contact, and catch. It's really important that you don't miss that contact position. And if you feel as though you're starting to miss it, just work your way back through that progression. The reason why I love the hang clean so much is because of posture. You can start the movement at a standing posture. Now when you go down through the movement, you can keep this locked in posture in your back. It's much more difficult. It takes a lot more time to try and develop this posture with the bar being dead weight on the floor, right? If we have to develop the clean from here, it's much more difficult to do a proper clean than it is to stand, set, bring everything down, maintain that set position, and go. So again, stand, set, maintain that back position, control, contact, and catch. So if you're interested in doing the full clean, this is definitely a movement that you should master first. So what's important to understand with programming the hang power clean is that we keep the reps per set low because this is a very technical movement. We want to take time in between each sets and get ourselves nice and calm so we can get the most out of every set technically. If we do big sets, our technique starts to fall apart and then we embed bad habits into ourselves. So we want to keep those sets low, anywhere from 1 to 3, maybe at the top end we're looking at 5 reps. But usually we're thinking of sets of 1 to 3 reps. Anywhere in a workout, once you get going, once you get warm, you could do anywhere from 5 to 10 sets. Now, the hang power clean, in my opinion, is probably one of the best global expressions of power. That means this is a total body movement. Now, in particular, you'll feel some growth in the traps and the upper back, but this is gonna help you throughout your entire body. It's gonna help you jump higher, run faster, you'll lift more in other lifts like the deadlift, the back squat, and so on. So if you're having trouble with the technicality of the clean, it's just too much for you right now, but you wanna get a workout in, I highly suggest doing the RDL. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the bar in that same position as the hang clean. And what we're looking for is weight back in the heels, slight bend in the knees, and we're gonna make sure we get a good hip hinge. So keep that back position straight, stretch the hamstrings. We're gonna go just below the knee, and we're gonna stand up fast. Okay, the weight is gonna feel more predominantly in the heels here, and we're gonna try and keep that barbell close to us. So nice and slow, stretch, and up fast. So if you want to build power that's similar to the barbell hang clean, we can do the same movement with the kettlebells. The kettlebell clean is an incredible movement because now we have two independent objects, which is a little bit different of a stimulus. There's more stability and control involved than with just the barbell. So the key here is to establish that hip hinge, that explosive hip hinge, very similar to what we have with the barbell. So we're right here, we're extending with those hips, okay? And when it comes to turning over and getting the bell to land in the front rack, you have to make sure that you drop those elbows and keep the kettlebell flush to you rather than flinging them up and letting them drop like that. So it looks like this with both of them. Keep it nice and snug, and we're finishing right here with both hands basically like punching ourselves in the jaw. That's where we're gonna look to land. So it comes in between the legs and straight up. In between the legs and straight up. What's really important to understand is while you guys are learning this, you may have some troubles along the way. And to avoid injury, stay safe, you have to remember that this progression that we have, you should be working back and forth throughout the progression when you feel as though you're not moving properly. Instead of trying to get to the end of the progression, add a bunch of weight and continue to move on. This is something that has to be flowing back and forth. So if you start to struggle with the hang clean, you can move back to that contact drill. If you struggle with the contact drill, you can move back to that muscle clean, and so on and so forth. This is an ever-flowing thing rather than thinking we need to lift a lot of weight right now. You know, important things as you progress through this progression are elbows high. It's not a reverse curl, letting the bar go away from you, dropping the elbows down, keeping your back straight, maintaining a good front rack. All of these things are very important to maintain throughout all movements. And if you feel as though they're going away, that's where you need to work. You need to either take steps back or continue to drill these things without adding weight. I highly suggest videotaping yourself and coaching yourself. And if you feel like you don't have the right coach's eye, you can find a weightlifting coach, you can find a CrossFit coach, a bunch of people that teach the hang clean itself. Find a training partner, hold each other accountable. These are technical movements, but you know, if you want to progress and you want to take it seriously, you should take steps outside of just doing the movement itself. Something you can do to warm up your upper body, and it's very specific to the front rack, is this front rack banded stretch. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a band, step in the band with one foot. You're gonna try and get your elbow high and through, and then you'll stand up. And you have this nice stretch here. You can see my core is nice and open. We're gonna try and close it. Stretch, I get this great stretch throughout my entire side here. I would say I do about 30 to 60 seconds on each arm. Switch back and forth until you feel ready.
Sometimes you don't feel focused and alert in the gym, and your workout can suffer as a result. New Alpha Brain pre-workout was designed specifically for athletes and gym goers and supports focus, power, and endurance. It's the ultimate way to charge up your mind and body. Use the coupon code GETONNIT to get 10% off Alpha Brain pre-workout at onnit.com. Now let's get back to the video.
Now to warm up the total body, your hamstrings, glutes, get it ready for the clean is the RDL. You could do this without a band. All we're gonna do is bend our knees slightly, really try and keep our chest up and open as we stretch our hamstrings. Weight is gonna be pushed a little bit further back. Man, my hamstrings are lit up right now. I'm gonna take this position and stand up fast. Control, keep that chest open, stretch, 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 and stand. What we can do is we can add in some weight. I can put both of my feet in the band. I can grab my band right here. Now I have tension. Again, keeping that position, stretch the hamstrings, and stand fast. We can do a set of anywhere from 10 to 20 reps. You can do a ton of reps. We're just trying to feel that stretch in the hamstrings, get the glutes ready as well. You can also work with the kettlebell, same exact thing. We're gonna start from this standing position. Kettlebell right here, 2 hands on the kettlebell. Keep the chest up, slight bend in the knees, stretch, and stand. Stretch, and stand. Same thing there, 10 to 20 reps. Now you guys can work through both of those movements for 2 or 3 rounds. Just go back and forth until you feel like you're warm, and then move on to the progression. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, as well as my channel right here. Also, click the link in the description for a full article guide on how to perform the hang climb.